Are we good, everybody? Whoop, I gotta set the YouTube portion of this video to be private. Just tweet out, hello guys, welcome to the party. So we're actually on a season 16 character. I'm not too far. I'm level 26. I played this a little bit earlier, but I didn't really play for long, mostly like maybe an hour or so. So nothing too crazy. I mean, I love Diablo 3, I really do, even though it's not really that much on the channel. It's also not really the most popular game anymore, but I don't care. I'm going to play it. You guys can enjoy it or not. It doesn't really matter. We're playing on a Necromancer. I love him. And then we're also going to be just hopping to adventure mode because I don't care about the campaign anymore. I've done it way too many times, and we're on hard difficulty. So hopefully we'll be able to do okay. I was doing this pretty easily before because Necromancer is really OP. I'll kind of treat you guys watching as if you don't know what's going on with the game, but basically we're the Necromancer character, which is a minion character, so we get to summon all of these dudes, and I'm rocking a fairly unique build. Normally, well, not fairly unique, just a minion build. It's just kind of, I don't really follow any builds in this game until you get to the late game, and I just kind of play this myself, right? So basically what you can end up doing is there's these different categories of abilities that you'll end up unlocking as you get more levels. So you can see this is a reanimation category, reanimation category, reanimation category. Normally the way that the game wants you to play it is you'll have one ability dedicated to curses, and then there will be another one dedicated to blood and bone. So you'll be rocking each of the different categories rather than what we're doing where you just cycle over with this arrow until you get to the different category of ability, and I'm just rocking tons of reanimation abilities instead. So this way we can have like a bazillion minions, and that's all it's about, right? So I'm using bone spikes with the bone pillars rune. This basically gives us a little bit more damage to the ability, but most of all it kind of auto targets, so I find that really useful for getting my essence up. So the way that a lot of the characters work in Diablo is you'll end up building up your mana meter with pretty much every character by using your basic attacks and using certain other attacks to end up doing that. And this is going to be the lifeblood of our character. We're going to use it to summon minions and stuff like that. So then we're rocking Skeletal Mage, and I'm using Gift of Death as the rune. Rune abilities you're going to end up unlocking over time, and these will just completely change the way that some of these abilities work. Like this is Skeletal Mages. We summon them for a temporary amount of time and they'll do damage, or we could use Contamination, which quite literally makes them turn into a python of poison damage until they end up despawning. But I like using Gift of Death, where it makes them leave a corpse behind when they end up dying, which is useful for us because of the other abilities that I'm kind of using, which is Corpse Revive. So Revive right here. Damage taken is reduced by 1% for every minion that we've revived. This is quite literally, we can revive 10 corpses on the ground within 20 yards, and they'll stay alive for 19 seconds. Command Skeletons, I'm just using the starting one right here where they cost less essence, just because Frenzy, there's not really much of a point. It increases their attack speed. I guess it's good, but I kind of just spam my abilities on cooldown. For the Golem, I'm actually rocking the Ice Golem right now, but I'm going to swap that back over to this one where when we command the Golem to attack, he's going to explode into corpses, and thus we can end up using those to revive even more minions. And then Army of the Dead is going to be our ultimate, which, I mean, this thing is just an absolute beautiful skill. I just got the Blighted Grass, so I'm not sure whether or not that's going to end up being good or not yet. Swift Harvest is going to increase our attack speed with our bone spikes again, so that we can generate that essence more, and then increase duration of skeleton mages and revived minions by 25%. That was a long explanation. Who cares? So this is going to be the Nephalem Rift. We're skipping all the story stuff. We just hop in, and it's just going to end up generating random dungeons with all sorts of enemies. This meter on the right, as we're filling it, is going to end up eventually summoning the dungeon boss. So later there will end up being greater rifts and stuff, and it's a whole lot of fun because we're just going to go in here, summon my minions, and watch everything die. Some good old Necromancer, man. Like, I love this guy. He seems to be a lot more powerful than I thought. What I'm basically doing while I'm fighting is I'm using my right click to summon more skeletons, mages, because they'll just keep on dying periodically. Let me know how the volume is, guys. Maybe it's too loud over my voice. I don't know. But, so I'll use my golem ability, so he explodes on them and leaves a trail of corpses behind. And then I'm also just using, this is resurrect. Here and there, I just use that around these enemies. And whenever we kill elite mobs and bosses, a bit too loud. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's bring that down about 5 dB. Is that better? Hopefully. Oh, I see. It's just really loud. Yeah, I'll bring that down to... let's bring that down to -20 instead of -10. That better? But yeah, so I'm just basically reviving minions and just, it's just a whole lot of fun playing this guy. And I pretty much just stand back and let them do all the work for me. We build this meter from just killing enemies, as well as when we end up running into elites and mini bosses and stuff. And as you can see, our essence is at 0 because we have to tag enemies with our basic attack. Which anytime you see me doing this, just kind of standing around, that's usually when I'm using my basic attack. And then here's my ultimate ability. That's not nearly as cool. Oh my gosh, I'm swapping that one out. Oh, you can't swap it until your cooldown's done. Ew! Try decreasing your volume. Right. I'll bring the game volume down even more. Let me know if that's better. Ooh, pool of reflection. Yeah, it could be... I see. I see what you mean. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? Hold on. Bear with me. I mean, I bring all my volume down instead of just the game. Okay, that's still pretty loud too, huh? I'll just bring it down to -30. This game's really loud. What can I say? Thanks, guys. Always pays to have the feedback. So, did you... I hope you guys were able to make out what I was saying, at least. So I don't have to repeat myself with all of that. Is that better? You know what? I'm actually noticing, yeah, it is still pretty loud, even in the game. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring the in-game volume down by 10. See if that helps. Go, my babies, go. It is possible to understand what I said. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so I'm not really going to commentate as much the further we go. Just because there's not really as much to say. Look at this. Like, we're just a beast, man. As we end up killing elite mobs and, you know, legendary enemies and stuff like that, you saw those... It's not health globes, but it's like yellow orbs. Those end up boosting up this meter even more. These are health globes, by the way. They'll just periodically spawn. And basically, it's a way that can heal us instantaneously instead of us having to pop a flask. Because we do have infinite potions, but they... I don't want that. Oh, we got new abilities, too. We do have infinite pots, but they are on a very lengthy cooldown. So we got poison abilities, also slow down enemies. That would be good for a poison build, but I do not care for poison builds. Minions! That's all I want is more minions, man. But I play this game a lot. Like, seriously. Nightshade, you're taking off, man. Thanks for coming out for as long as you did, dude. Have a good one. And thank you for the birthday wishes for tomorrow. Hee. I kind of want to save my ult for when the big boss shows up, just so you guys can see it. But I guess I can use it next time we run into a group of enemies that's worthwhile. Look at all that purple on the map. Isn't that beautiful? So many minions. I love Necromancer, dude. Oh, there's a good power up over here. Yeah, so these are going to end up being kind of runic abilities. Conduit is just everything is going to die in one hit by some weird electricity that we have, so it pays to go as fast as we can right now. And we're getting tons of this is our XP bar right down there as well. And the normal game, you'll kind of go through zones. Like, it's not just going to be sporadic, go into a random cave and stuff like that. Look at that. Normally, the game actually goes through, like, a proper story. But in adventure mode, we just get to go into these random generated dungeons and just focus on the fun of the game. Instead of anything else. Did we already waste our conduit? Yeah, it's already gone. RIP. Conduit is beautiful. So there's our normal spike thing going on. The game generally is going to be a bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing. But this game is probably one of my all-time favorite games, just period. Because the design that they put behind this, like, I love Blizzard as a company. They've made some questionable decisions with some of their latest games, for sure. But they're still a company that I hold really, really in high regard. Because they're one of the only companies that seems to understand visuals to a whole other level. So even though it might be confusing for some of you guys just watching that don't know anything about this game, but I actually know very easily everything that's going on and where all of the enemies are and where all the corpses are and stuff like that, because the game does a fantastic job with visual representation to the player, telling me everything that I need to know immediately. You know, even with all of our cooldowns and stuff, it's all very, very instructive, as well as being, like, very to the point with looking very beautiful as well, you know? Because they got great silhouettes for all the creatures. You know which ones are bigger and which ones are going to end up being more of a threat. We also know which ones are ours because they kind of just fade into the background a little bit when we're fighting against other minions and stuff and whatever. How do I support you? Yeah, it's a top-down type of game for sure. There's a couple different ways to support me, Teddy, but it's entirely up to what you want to do and how much you want to do it with. There's links in the description where you can end up doing donations directly. You can donate through Streamlabs. You can there's a bunch of our options. Just scroll down and you can end up seeing it all. But yeah, this game, the Diablo franchise, has had huge influences on every video game ever made. Blizzard was actually the first company that made, like, they made this game. Like, they invented loot. Like, loot tables that you see in other video games, they created it with Diablo 1. Which is, like, insanely old. Even this game was, like, 2012, I think. And it still holds up today and is still being developed like crazy. So we got a couple of abilities like that skeletal charge right there. That's the active ability for our skeleton minions. They're kind of passive, just there. But I can use that at any time to make them charge towards enemies and do more damage. And then, like I said earlier, we also have this move, where we get to kill our golem, resummon a new one because he's a passive. But when he ends up dying, he also ends up spawning a bunch of corpses, and that's why we actually have a whole bunch of little minions now. Because I can use that to, like, use our revive on corpses that are on the ground to end up respawning more and more minions. So this wall right here is actually a boss ability. Later on, the boss abilities get more and more complicated. And we'll end up either pulling you to them, having bombs explode after they die, block you with a wall like that. Sometimes they'll even have the most annoying ability is they'll just be invincible, save for a short window where you can cause damage to them. My least favorite boss ability. Oh, what do we got here? Frenzied Shrine, more attack speed, give it to me. Get over there, minions. That's the thing that's cool about the active for the skeletons as well, as we can use it for positioning. I'll take a pool of reflection any day. That gives us more XP. But we can kind of force our skeletons to be in the fray and fighting things. instead of what they like to do, which is just focus on like one enemy in the background for some reason. Oh, everything's dead. I should have known. Legendary chest. Gimme, 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 gimme. Items. Get over there. You guys gotta do stuff. You can go ahead and be a weird transforming boss. You're dead. So we're getting ever closer to that boss. We're at 85%. And when we end up beating the boss, then that ends up completing this rift, and then we gotta go into another one. Hey, Arments. Also, hi to everybody else. I'm sorry I didn't end up responding to you guys. Most of all, I just wanted to get the explanation of this game and the mechanics out of the way for anybody that's just tuning into the game, don't know anything about it. But seriously, guys, if you want to play like a top-down game like this, you can't go wrong with, there's either Diablo 3 or Path of Exile. Path of Exile, of course, is a free-to-play game, but it's kind of like a more hardcore version of this. I don't find it as graphically appealing. Like Diablo, I actually really like it, despite the fact that everyone is always like, I don't like the graphics because it's not as dark and dingy as all the other Diablo games. Which hopefully they announce either Diablo 4 soon or Diablo 2 Remake is the rumor that's going around. Because besides them announcing Diablo Immortal, you guys have phones, right? Look it up if you don't know the meme I'm mentioning. But they actually, at BlizzCon of last year... Ew, swamp. Ugh. I hate this generation. At BlizzCon, they ended up announcing their dumb phone game instead of a new Diablo game. Apparently, they do have a new Diablo game in the works. The thing is that they didn't have it ready for their show. And so that's why their show was really awkward and out of place, because it was like they talked about the game that they did have ready rather than talking about the other game that they didn't have ready, because there is going to end up being a new Diablo game on PC. Boss time! Give me that last orb. Ba-ba-ba-bam! So this is going to be the super challenging boss, and as always, this is great because we got more minions to deal with on top of the boss. Where is he? Let's use our ultimate. Brah! Isn't that beautiful? And look at that health just melt. Just get out of my face, man. Protect me, skeletons. Daddy's got to do stuff. Let's also destroy our golem so that we can get more minions here. Take care of this extra elite mob here because... There we go. Because item! Potential good items! Oh my gosh, there's so many bosses. Go, skeleton babies. Kill them. Yeah, you guys could probably join me if you want. It's just a new seasonal character, so I'm only level 29. You'll be able to catch up with me fairly quickly because this game is very balanced, where even if you end up coming in here at level 1, the game will scale the XP properly so that you'll catch up to me and then roughly be at the same level. It's not like I'm always going to be ahead of you. It does a really good job kind of balancing it out. You won't be doing much damage. So now that we've completed it, we get a bunch of golden stuff. This place gets destroyed. We also ended up picking up some bloodstones, which you'll see over here. And what these bloodstones are used for is we can use it at this merchant. The only way to get bloodstones is by completing rifts. There is greater rifts at level 70, which is the maximum level in the game. But then on top of being max level in the game, you can get what the game calls paragon levels, and that's going to basically be infinite levels. That is just going to end up being slowly poured into more and more of these paragon stats right here. So you can end up getting more movement speed, maximum essence, and stuff like that. And you can reallocate these skills anytime that you want. I think my paragon is only at like level 300 and something. But because we're a new season character, it means that we basically are forced to start at the beginning. And we're going to be rushing through the game, completing various achievements to end up unlocking various items. And each season you can end up unlocking, like this I got from another season, these bat wings, a bunch of these different pets you get from the season, or you just find them as rare drops. Same with some of these things. I think, clearly I haven't done that many seasons, honestly, but, alright, so did we get any good items here? Good belt. That belt I can't use. Is that better? No. no. I don't want any of these blues. I don't care. Blues are useless. I mean, I guess it's better than our legendary to have this rare one. You can see quite literally the game does a very good job of quickly showing stats changed if equipped. So plus 6% damage, 18% toughness. That's because of the vitality. And then our recovery ends up going up because... Why? Oh, because of the vitality as well. Okay. But I like the thorns that we've got on our armor right now where we do 286%. Oh, of our vitality. I thought that was my just normal damage. So let's get rid of that. Well, let's just keep it. We don't need the extra damage. That's not really that much extra damage. And then we just destroy everything and do it again. And you can end up spending these bloodstones on this chick where she'll just give you mystery items. I kind of want a new shoulder pad. Yeah, let's go for shoulder pads. We just got a bunch of blues. That sucks. Sometimes you can end up getting some really good rares. Potent Shadow. Thoughts on Ashen? I didn't play it. I actually started playing Dark Souls 3 instead. So I'm looking for a new game to play. Maybe this is it. Oh, this game is phenomenal, dude. Like, you will not regret getting this game for sure. This character that we're using, keep in mind, is an expansion character. You actually pay money specifically to use this. Let me actually show you real quick here. I'll give you a quick rundown just so you guys know all the different characters. I'm going to keep playing as the Necro, but I've got a bunch of different characters. So there's going to be the Barbarian. I mean, I swapped to male just because I'm a boy. You can always be female if you want. Barb is quite literally, you're going in there, you're doing some huge screen shaking abilities. He's really, really fun to play, especially if it's your first time playing through the game, because you're just a powerhouse. You're wrecking everything. You got tons of different abilities that make you super duper powerful. Again, each of the characters is going to end up having a different mana pool that they'll generate. This guy's generates by doing damage in combat, which we'll not talk about that in too much detail. Crusader is one of the other expansion characters. He kind of starts out weak, but at the end game ends up becoming the tankiest character in the game. You're basically invincible. And he's got one of the coolest ults where it just makes him bigger, and he's like super duper powerful in that state. I actually really enjoyed playing through the game as this guy. Demon Hunter, you're the Shadow Hunter from Trove. You're dodging and rolling, and you're an acrobat, basically, laying down traps for enemies and throwing snares at them and stuff. And it's a really fun, very aggressive class. So kind of a glass cannon-ish, but not so much as the mage. Monk is another character that I haven't personally played through the game with, but I know for a fact is probably one of the most strongest in the game for sure. Because he's going to end up dishing out really good damage while also being invincible. That's pretty much his end game. Like, his abilities are just based on that. And the thing that's so cool is there's so many different builds on the characters. The late game, however, of Diablo basically boils down to which legendary set do you want to use that is going to end up giving you specific bonuses to a specific set of abilities. So that's where the Necromancer does have a set that promotes his minions. But back when I was playing as the Necromancer when it first came out, there was only like one viable set for the end game where you had to use bone armor, and it was really boring, so I ended up quitting when that ended up happening. Necromancer, you've already seen. There's a lot of other abilities that I'm not using as this guy. You do not have to use minions. You can be like a vampire stealing blood from enemies, leaving bone charms and stuff, and just doing all sorts of things with massive explosions. Witch Doctor, I don't like him. As far as I'm concerned, he's the lamest character, but that doesn't mean that other people won't enjoy him. He is kind of more fire and poison effects and stuff like that. So he kind of was the replacement to the Necromancer, because the Necromancer was the summoner character in Diablo 2, and then in Diablo 3 we had the Witch Doctor instead. So you have a couple minions that you can explode to do damage and stuff like that. And the Necromancer plays very similar to him, but more so this guy focuses on having an army of minions, while the Witch Doctor has maybe a small group of them. And the Necromancer is the most recent class that's been added to the game, so that's why Witch Doctor was fairly similar. But he's got enough good abilities. He's strong enough, but he's not my favorite. I played through the game as him. Wizard is a lot of fun. If you like magic users, you're going to love the Wizard, because it's very, very flashy. All of your abilities just look absolutely beautiful. You'll have a laser of death. You'll be able to put down a bubble shield where all of the projectiles from enemies will go slow-mo when they're in that shield, or you can end up using a rune ability that makes all your allies in that shield do more damage and stuff like that, and just overall a very, very fun class to play. You can end up playing all the characters. Like, really. And then down here, this is going to be, behind my face cam is choosing to be a seasonal hero. So that's where, if we're playing through the game, we can end up, like I said, unlocking various items when we get to certain pivotal points. You can choose a hardcore character if you want. I wouldn't recommend it because hardcore means permadeath. So, yeah. You can also see the wizard gets one of his ult abilities, transforms him into an arcane being of death. And basically, each of the characters focuses on different elements of damage. So I don't know, you can kind of see the little pictures over here. I would recommend that you check out some video guides of these characters, but there's a lot to them, and a lot to the complexity of this game. Here's my maxed out Necromancer with level 70 and Paragon level 396. And then this is this guy. This is my maxed out using a specific set Crusader. Here's my maxed out Barb. This is a different mage. This was my maxed out mage, and he's rocking a fairly weird set. And then this was my maxed out witch doctor. I have a lot of his items in storage, but you generally do look kind of ugly as him. Like, he just doesn't look that great. So anyways, let's go back to the Necromancer and back to our goodness. We could probably go to a higher difficulty, but higher difficulty means we're killing things slower, getting better items, yes, but killing things slower. So maybe we'll end up doing one more rift. What do you guys think? And then we can call it, because I gotta make some calls in real life. Also, hello to everybody else who has joined. There's a lot of other aspects to the game too that I'm not going to get into. There's socketing, so you'll end up finding gems that you can put in different gear. You can use this guy to combine gems that you end up getting throughout the adventure. You can end up using this smith and finding blueprints out in the world to end up crafting specific items. And then there's also just the main story of the game is fairly impressive when you go through it. The story sucks, but the world that you go through is very alive and cool. And when you end up going through the different acts, you end up going to different zones and fighting different bosses and stuff. And it's really, really fun when you're just going through it the first time, for sure. But I just like jumping right into the action, because I've already played through the story like so many times. Like this area right here, the theme, this is from Act 1. So there's either like 5 or 6 acts in the game, I forget. Hello, Reptilian. Yeah, it's all good, man. I know, I heard what happened. Rip. The bar thing looks so similar to the troll bar. Yeah, that's because the troll ripped it off. Like, straight up, this game, this franchise, I should say, has been responsible for a huge influence in games. Like, to an insane degree, guys. And rightly so, because it's an amazing game. Okay, there we go. So we got some, we got our active ability. I guess I can be showing you guys different builds, but I just like this, just because it's like most visually impressive and just cool. But I could swap over to a blood build or something. Let me see, where's that new ability? So we got in our passive slot. Increase your essence by 40. That's not bad. Poison abilities, I don't care about that. Consuming a corpse has a chance to spawn a health globe, so you can do stuff like that. I guess we'll just take that one. More essence, why not? That means we can just use, well, we don't really need to spam our abilities that much. I don't know. What should we swap over? Okay, let's see. Frailty, so crippling curse that instantly kills enemies at low health, that's right. I see. And then we got the different rune abilities. So Blood Rush, shed your mortal flesh and reappear in another location. So we basically end up getting a teleport ability. I guess we can get off our golem here. I'll kind of show you guys some of the other abilities, because the blood abilities I think are really, really visually impressive as well. Enemies are slowed while you siphon blood from them. That's not bad. You pull in all health globes. Why not? There's no reason not to use a rune except just because sometimes the base of the ability is going to be different. I definitely want to have Army of the Dead. That one's beautiful, but I guess we'll sacrifice it for the sake of... What do you say? Oh, we have Blood Rush already. Okay. What's reanimation? Reanimation. Curses, I guess. So we can use Crippling Curse, which reduces enemy units' movement speed. Leech, curse the targeted area. Heal the attacker. Sure, why not? Enemies that die while cursed will spread the curse to nearby infected bodies. Alright. And then rather than revive, let's use Corpse Explosion, because that's one of my favorites. I guess we could be using Devour. I don't know. And then let's use... Oh, Singularity. Consumes all essence to summon a powerful minion. The minion's damage is increased by 3% for every point of essence consumed. That's not bad. But we're not going to use that. Let's use the Ice Skeletal Archers instead of the Skeletal Mages. So now, our basic ability looks like this, and we're quite literally just stealing blood from enemies. We got our nice teleport as well. So it's going to be a little bit weird for me to change this build. Oh, I should get off my skeletons as well. But we also have Corpse Explosion, so now we just blow up the bodies on the ground. It's very, very powerful. I do like having my skeleton babies, just because they protect Papa. See? Really, really good. Corpse Explosion! Can you get over here, bud? Look at this. Let me just steal your life essence. Delicious. When you end up exploding on them, it's really good, dude. But see, that's the thing, guys. Like, there's so many different builds for all the characters, and it just all looks really awesome. That's the thing about it that I like. Teleport, of course, is very useful. Corpse Explosion is amazing. Like, look at that damage that we end up doing with it. I was rocking a Corpse Explosion build before because it's very, very powerful. Basically, we explode the corpses on the ground, causing damage to enemies in an AoE. Gives us a lot of crowd control while also doing a lot of damage. But I like using a minion build. That's where... you know what I should do? Let's, come on. It doesn't let us change our abilities in combat. Let's change this to the Golem instead. Flesh Golem. So when we use him as an active, we can have him destroy himself so that we can get more corpses on the ground. So we can do, like... He goes in, boom, 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 use all of the corpses that he just dropped down to destroy absolutely everything. So it's kind of like a nice combination of attack where we can use him to lay on the offense even more. And it kind of promotes a more aggressive playstyle when we're using stuff like this. Because, of course, the more things that we kill, the more corpses we have to use at our disposal. Which means we can do even more damage. Which I should actually be rocking a different mage rune in sec. It's really brutal, I guess I should have mentioned at the beginning, because it's not inherently a family-friendly game, but whatever. I'm going to use the Gift of Death. So when skeletal minions die, or mages die, now they'll actually drop down a corpse. Explosions of Death! The ability that we're using for the corpse explosions is more AoE, so it gives us a little bit more crowd control. Instead of, there's another one where it's makes the explosion a little bit smaller, but it does way more of our weapon damage. That's the thing too, all of the abilities are a percentage off of your own damage. Power Pylon, give me more strength. I'm just killing things already. Now I kill them in one hit. Pylons are temporary buffs that are very, very useful. One of my favorites is the one that gives you more movement speed, because then you can just run through everything like a baller. Okay, we got a lot of new abilities here. Alright. Minions, go do things. Papa has to check his new abilities. Revive got Horrific Revive. So when you revive corpses, enemies within 20 yards run in fear. That might be useful, but I don't really care. Bone Spirit. Launch a Bone Spirit that will seek enemies and deal damage on impact. 4,000 weapon damage. Let's take that instead of our Blood Teleport. Damage is increased by 15% for each enemy that Bone Spirit passes through. Nice. And then our passive ability changed to, while using a Scythe, gain 2% essence per life kill. 2% essence per kill, I mean. Because that's the thing, is now we're playing as this guy. So, as the Necromancer and as certain characters, you'll have a passive ability that you can pick if you want. That will end up... Oh, that's a good one. That will end up augmenting you with a specific weapon type. Denied. Oh, hey, more movement speed. Good. We got a temp buff just because we killed so many things. There's also tons of different loot that you can end up grinding for. Obviously, we're not going to see anything too impressive right now because we're at the early game, but there's lots of set items as well that are going to be very impressive. Because like I said earlier, they'll kind of force you into playing a very specific way. So, for example, on my Crusader, there's an ability that you can have where basically you just have a bunch of hammers swinging around you like an aura. And I had a set that ended up boosting the damage of that while also making the hammers faster. Go, Evil Spirit! That's fairly powerful. Huh. Not as powerful as my explosives. Man alive. Such an awesome game, though. Like, seriously. I highly recommend it, guys. The difference, too, in our basic attack, because that's what that blood siphon is that replaced that bone spear that we were using. But your basic attack, now we actually don't have AoE for the trade-off of doing more damage to one specific target. Alright, let's use our Spirit of Death. 37k, that's pretty impressive for early game. I guess just because that ability is very nice. Ew! These guys have their dumb shield, that's what's going on. Corpse Explosion, that'll take care of you. There we go. Whoa, almost died. Because he had one of the most annoying abilities in the game where not only did we get frozen, but he did more damage to us when he got game ended. So we also seem to be building stacks with this ability. Store up to 3 charges. Oh, so I could use it 3 times. So I should be using that a lot more. Huh. I didn't know that because I don't normally use these other abilities. My experience with the Necro is fairly limited compared to the other characters. Like, I've played to the end game with almost all the other classes, and I've been at the end game with them for a long time, as opposed to the Necromancer. By the time I got him to the end game, I was kind of done playing. The Corpse Explosion is so OP. Go, Evil Spirit, go! Go, Evil Spirit! Go, Evil Spirit! Destroy them! He's so slow and stupid. Ah, yes, one of my favorite zones. This is, the cathedral that you start the game with. Speaking of influence, there's actually the Skeleton King. He first appeared in Diablo 1 as well. He was a very difficult starting boss. And, I think he was the second boss, actually, right after the Butcher. And they've got all those bosses kind of making a reappearance in here. And, speaking of which, Dark Souls 3 actually has a boss in the Cathedral that basically is a nod, I swear, to the Diablo boss. Like, he has to be. Some of these enemies are pretty gross, as you can see. How much is Diablo 3? You'd have to check. I think it's pretty cheap now, because it's fairly old. Like, you can get it on sale sometimes. This game's also on all consoles, by the way, guys, including Nintendo Switch, because it's actually very, very well optimized. Boss time! Oh, I haven't even been using that slow aura that I had. Was that the boss? No. I didn't think so. Whoop! He's got babies! Corpse Explosion, please. Protect me. Protect Papa. Oh my gosh, that damage. See, like, you're effective no matter what build you do, dude. Especially at the beginning of the game. Man alive. Whew. Nintendo 3DS. Yeah. Totally. No. Yeah, I enjoy it on PC as well, but you can play this game very easily with a controller. Like, it's not like it's a bad port or anything. It's actually really good. That's a lot of recovery. 109% more. Reduces cooldown skills. I like that. So we lose our intelligence, which loses 2.6%. And that's way better. Less damage. I want more damage. Thank you very much. That's good. I'll take that. That's a very good replacement for once. That's also a better sword. We don't get as much XP from using it, but we can do area damage. Sure. Was this? Oh, this is a legendary. What's the ability that this thing's got then? Nothing really. Okay. And then those are just blues. What about these? Sure. More damage is always a good thing. Why not? Increase Grim Scythe damage. I'm not using Grim Scythe, so that doesn't matter. My life is not that grim. Is the Discord invite broken? Yeah, I'll update that after. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it right now. Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. In the normal game too, I seem to recall that you used to repair stuff, but I don't think you do anymore. Let me actually see if I can get you an updated Discord link invite, dude. Expire after never. There we go. Okay, that is not like stupid Discord. That's like a new link. That's not the one that actually like works. But I guess I'll just have to update the Discord that Nightbot ends up saying. Anyways, I want to swap back to my minion build again. Oh, we got Command Skeleton's new thing. Skeleton minions will heal you for 0.5% of your total health per hit while being commanded. While being commanded. I guess that's okay, but it's not like I'm dying. So I'd rather... I guess they can have more attack speed instead of the essence. Whatever. But let's... when you revive minions... Damage taken reduced by 1. Yeah, I like that. Let's swap back to our minion build here. I know I just said that, but what does Leech got? Each cursed enemy increases your life regeneration. I don't care. Man, Golem. I guess we can use the Ice Golem. It's not like we're using Corpse Explosion anymore. Army of the Dead, which is beautiful. I don't like that poison as much. These guys don't need Gift of Death. Let's use... Consume all essence to summon one minion. Why not? It's not like we're using any of our mana on anything else. Cool. Hey, Tropics. Yeah, let's do one more, okay? Because then otherwise I really gotta do stuff. The other thing, too, I guess I should mention is you can use basically any weapon in the game because it doesn't really matter. If you're a melee character, obviously, you're going to actually, like, swing with it. But we've got our katana out right now, and it doesn't matter because anytime we do our attacks, we just have our normal attacks going off. I gotta change my basic attack. Bone spikes, bone pillars. I like that better. Gives me more control. Come, my children. Yes. How's you? I'm doing great, man. Just enjoying myself some good old Diablo. Reinstalled it ironically because every other game that I've been playing has just made me crave Diablo. MapleStory 2, Torchlight Frontiers. All it does is just makes me want to play more Diablo. And you know what? Here we are. So now that we've got this Ice Golem instead, by the way, we can have him, boom! He'll stick around and he'll freeze all enemies around us. Okay, I'm noticing that this Skeletal Mage is not as useful. We'll use Gift of Death again. Because with Gift of Death, we can actually res, like use Revive on our own minions. So it just makes it really, really easy for us to summon as many things as possible and just completely clear the screen. Let's use our ult. I don't care. It's too beautiful to pass up. More. I need more. Oh, wait. I see a legendary up there. Legendary boss. I mean, not an item. We've been getting pretty unlucky with our items. Go, my children. Destroy him. So you see, we're not really as damaging. We're very menacing because we've got so many minions that we're just basically invincible because we can hide behind them. And generally, I just find it to be a lot funner. But we do a lot more damage if we have a more aggressive build like the corpse explosion. And focusing on stuff like that. I should be using my different... there we go. My different golem so that I can throw him in for even more revives. Go, my skeleton babies. I mean, we're still doing damage, for sure. It's just corpse explosion scales a little bit better. Protection shrine. I am even more invincible. Thank you, game. Summon more of the children. You'll see I'm not going for chess either. That's just because we're kind of at the beginning of the game, so none of the loot actually matters. It's all temporary. Because we pretty much just wait until we get way later. Yeah, open that one anyways. Oh, maybe not. When you see an anvil too, that's crafting components. Because sometimes you'll end up using that. More so in the core game rather than a seasonal character. The way that seasonal characters work is you're basically starting at the beginning of the game. You don't have access to your personal stash. You can actually share all of your gear between all your characters in the normal game. But you start from scratch completely so that you can end up earning various achievements to end up giving you a bunch of items on your main account after. And when the season ends, this character will be converted to a normal account character. So it's not like you lose the progress or anything. So for somebody like myself who's already at the end game, and even if you guys would just be starting, I'd recommend just be seasonal, even if you don't get all the way through it. Because you can actually go through season getting a lot of the story quest stuff. Also, I'm sorry I'm not really paying as much attention. This game requires more attention than most games that I usually play, so... not that I mean, sorry that I'm not paying attention to chat. More children. The sound effects are great, too. I know that I turned it all down a little bit, but... Yeah, that's right. That's the biggest thing that you get from the seasons is basically what the end game of Diablo turns into. Not many people like it. I think it's okay. But basically the end game is you going through rifts over and over and over again, trying to get gear that's only slightly better than the gear you're rocking so that you can go into a later rift and have chances of getting better gear and so on and so forth. This is basically the end of the game. But these set items that will end up giving you these crazy benefits, they'll actually give you a full set for completing a season for the character that you're actually playing on, or character you're choosing, I think. Which is very, very useful because otherwise grinding it all vanilla, like just casual, takes an absurdly long time. Because you can end up getting drops for a bunch of different sets, whereas with this we just get to farm for a very specific one. I forgot. That's the best thing about it, actually. I don't know which sets are actually in rotation. I think for the Necromancer, it's the Blood set. And then a really good run for Crusader, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you know what? Use my ult. Get wrecked. I don't even care, because we're going to have enough time to use in our ult. This game goes up to 4 people, too, by the way. I should have mentioned. So we could be even more powerful. Of course, more players means that the enemies end up scaling a lot more, but it ends up being a lot of fun because the difficulty does get pretty intense later. Like, you're micromanaging so many different things. Treasure gobbles! Get 'em, boys! Oh, it's a phasing one. Okay. It's turning into so many little ones. Take him out. Come on, come on, come on. Stop them. Because otherwise those guys will try to disappear. Oh, there's still more of them still running around. Oh, he got away. No, get this one. There we go. So that one drops gems. That's why he's like a rarer gobbles. But the thing is, it makes it really intense because sometimes you end up forcing, like it forces you into combat situations that you wouldn't otherwise do. Speed pylon, give it to me. More movement speed. Do you want boosting to 70? Yeah, sure, man. I would actually love that. What's your username? Let me add you up. How do we play multiplayer? How do I add people? Do I gotta add you through Battle.net? It's been a long time. Like, I literally just reinstalled this game today. But yeah, I don't care. Server? What? Are we on a server? I don't know. You can add by character name? Oh yeah, right. Right. It's literally been like a year since I played Diablo 3, guys. But yeah, I'm totally fine with I'm totally fine with getting boosted to 70. Otherwise, it takes way too long to level up. I'll end up doing this. I'm not gonna add you guys right now. Oh, server. I guess I would be on NA. Conduit. Here we go. But, I'll add you guys after I'm done with this, rift. If that's okay. I'm not going to be able to grind too much today. This is probably my last grind. Sorry to say. But you guys can still add me up and we can play together for sure. Because otherwise I'm... Can we... Yes. Oh, no. That got rid of our conduit. Rip. Oh, well. Oh, I'm on EU. Oh, rip. Yep. That's okay. We don't get to play together. Oh, well. Too bad, so sad. That's okay, man. Yeah, I honestly didn't even think that there would be servers. There we go. Use that movement. Oh, gross. At least we still have the movement speed so we can get out of this mess. Because, yeah, I guess I should have also mentioned that basically you're trying to go deeper and deeper and deeper and focusing on elite bosses. Channeling gives us more damage, sure. Or remove cooldowns greatly, that's right. Not that it matters on this build. There we go. Go, my children, go. When you end up going into greater rifts, you actually only build this meter up when you kill elite mobs. So you're just kind of ignoring all the normal enemies and just rushing through. The other thing too is in a greater rift, you're actually on a time limit. So that's one of the annoying boss abilities right there, where he pulls you in. It's a very, very bad combination when they have the wall ability, because then they'll pull you in and you can't get out. Like, certain abilities will more so show up when you get to the later portions of the game. That's how the game kind of does its job with, in terms of scaling. You don't just immediately get the worst boss abilities ever. Not that it would matter right now, because we're just defeating everything right away. You can see the boss abilities under an enemy's health bar as well. Yoink. Almost done with this one, guys. We want to save our ult. Oh, these guys have really gross abilities. If we were in there, we'd be dead, because they're generating poison. Go, my children, go. Is that enough? Really? We're just like, we're at 98%. Oh, man. Come on. So do these guys do it? Did they give us? No, they don't give us much percent. Come on. Give me my boss. I'm gonna make phone calls. I'm a businessman. Pool of reflection. Right at the end. I shouldn't have wasted that ice. Oh, let's see how we can shred him. Shred him. Get him, boys. Take him down as fast as possible. He's a coward. He's trying to run. Body block him with the minions. Dead. Gimme. Give me items. Well, we got a legendary crafting component. Which, who cares? Ooh. Big chest. I'll take these. Anything good? Nah, just a bunch of crafting junk. And gems. See, now these guys, look how much they're damaging us. We're actually doing a pretty good job. Because we don't have enough minions here to protect us. But we got a lot of life stealing going on because of our minions and our abilities. But that's the thing too, is in the greater rifts, enemies actually don't drop loot. So you get better loot, but you have to beat the boss in order to end up completing it. And then you'll also end up getting some weird legendary gems to socket your gear with. Which end up being pretty detrimental. Reduce cooldowns, increase bone armor. Don't use bone armor, but whatever. Yeah, it's better than that other one. This one's got more damage, so I'll take it. Garbage. Garbage. Oh, that's an offhand item. What does it even do? Increase bone armor? Who cares? No. Sure. No. Those gloves give me more damage. I'll take it. Sure. Why not? We can also craft a bunch of our extra stuff. Craft. I'm talking about this chick. Because I still want... What do I want? What do I want? Do we want a ring? Ooh, those are really expensive. For the blood shards. What should we go for? We can't really go for anything. I guess I can save these. That's okay. Another thing we can end up doing is there's challenge rifts. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know how many times you can complete it because I've literally only done them once. But if you do a challenge rift, it kind of forces us... Yeah, I already did it. Okay. So you can do... Does one player count? Okay. So you can end up doing a rift with a pre-built character. So this is something that they already just gave us. It's not a character that we created or anything. And then you end up getting a bunch of items out of this, which is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream, but I will be adding you guys. So yes, leave your usernames right there for me to see. And we'll play some Diablo sometime. Not necessarily today, because I got to get some stuff done. But I appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks for the support. Hopefully you enjoyed this, most of all, introduction to Diablo 3's mid-game. We're not really at the late game or anything like that. But, I mean, essentially this is kind of just it until the end. But it's a very, very awesome game the first time you end up going through it for sure. And I just, yeah, it's an awesome game. I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'll end up doing more streams. Maybe more streams, but I don't know. Not really that much, because there are a lot of other games that I have running on the channel right now. So, either way, thanks for watching. Very much appreciate it. Sign off. Stay epic.